Hello everyone, my name's Jamie Carroll and I'm an astrologer, hypnotherapist and energy worker. In a previous podcast I talked about negative energy, what it is and how it works. I explained that we have to get our heads around the idea that we have both a physical body and a non-physical energy body. And that energy body is continuously pushing out energy and receiving energy from other people and from our environment. When the energy we send out is negative, we affect others, even if we don't express our negative feelings. When people are thinking negatively about us, we are absorbing that negative energy, even if we are nowhere near the other person. If we are living in an environment with negative energy, we are absorbing that energy too. What may have been implied, but which I didn't explicitly say in that podcast, was that the non-physical energy body is our true self. It is our spirit. It is who we truly are. So that is rather an important point. In this short podcast, I start to look at how we can defend ourselves against negative energy. The first thing to say before I get into the technique is that the best defense against negative energy is having a positive mindset towards yourself and others. If you are centered, grounded and established in right thinking, if you're sending out only goodwill and you're without fear, you cannot be touched or influenced by negative thought and negative energy. So that's the gold standard. And actually it's pretty possible to spend much of our lives in this positive mental and spiritual mindset, which will avoid a lot of problems. But we are human, and inevitably there'll be times when we find it hard to keep hitting this standard. We all have people in our lives or subjects that trigger us. Times when our positive energy is not as high as it should be, and negative energy gets through. And no matter who we are, there'll be key moments in our lives where we are directly subjected to negative energy from other people. And that's hard. Even the very best feel their composure tested when hostility, anger, depression or jealousy is directed at them, and can feel knocked out energetically after the encounter is over. So it is not practical to assume that we will always be unaffected by negative energy, and while it might be a useful life lesson on occasions to experience it, on balance it is nearly always better to be able to defend ourselves against it. And this is a useful skill. And it will feed into reinforcing the positive thinking and emotions which are generating your positive energy. So the process of defending yourself is actually very simple. Incredibly simple, in fact, as I will outline in a few seconds. The challenge comes because we have to change our mindset. It's one thing to accept that there might be a non-physical energy body that surrounds our physical body. That is a very intellectual approach, and it's more than likely that by sitting on the fence, your mind will come to decide that you are simply not going to bother trying to defend something that isn't real. You won't devote the small amount of time you need to defend yourself. It is another thing entirely to decide to actively believe that your energy body is your true self. If you believe that your energy body is real, and it is your spirit, that is a big deal. If you take care of your physical body, why in the world wouldn't you want to keep your mystical, wonderful, immortal, non-physical body clean too? As my mentor Jeffrey Seelman would say, think like a spirit. Before we dive into the technique themselves, I really wanted to underline that point. I also just want to provide a bit of additional information. In my previous podcast, for simplicity, I use the terms energy body and aura interchangeably, and many people do. But you can make a distinction between them. I see the energy body as layers that fit around the physical. The energy body is your spirit. The aura is an outer layer which surrounds all of these other layers. Your aura is the energy which your spirit projects out as a protective shield. It can extend several inches out from every part of your body. And those who are familiar with the aura know that we usually visualize it as an egg shape that completely encases the human body. From a visualization perspective, that is useful to know. Sometimes our aura becomes weak, and sometimes negative energy overwhelms our aura and enters into our energy body. This can cause the aura to shrink or become deformed in places. And that's also the ultimate cause of sickness. So the first step in protecting ourselves is to imagine the aura in its perfect egg shape. The second step is to imagine your perfect egg-shaped aura turning into an electric blue colour. Blue is the spiritual colour of protection. So think of your spirit generating this blue light and see it shining from your spirit body and radiating inwards into your physical body. And then see your spirit shining the blue light outwards, filling all of the space behind the edge of your aura with blue light. And finally see the edge of the aura itself glowing an electric blue. Now, as a rule of thumb, the more we practice something, the better we get at it. You don't get a lovely body just showing up at the gym twice a year. But while the same principle is true with energy work, it's just as true that even spending just a little bit of time every day will make a big difference. You don't need to spend hours doing this. The process of filling out your blue aura can be done in 15 seconds before you get out of bed in the morning, or you can do it while you're eating your breakfast. The more you practice, the more vivid the image will be. For those who prefer sensing or imagining or feeling the aura, that approach is equally valid. And the more you do that, the more you sense or imagine or just feel, the more real the aura will feel to you too. And so now you have a real shield. You have something in place that is fending off a lot of the negativity that is flying at you. There are more steps we can take to make the shield even more impervious, but this is a good start. Quick, easy, anyone can do it. So there you go. You just have to flick the switch in your mind, I guess, and convince yourself of the validity of the spiritual energy body. Okay, so join me again for the third podcast, where I shall talk in more detail about how to defend ourselves against negative energy.